Okay. Okay.
We here live. We on it. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. Hey, hey, hey. No, let me stop trolling. Oh.
Goodbye.
No, Atlanta, y'all represent it, man. Y'all represent it. I really don't got. I'm doing a lot of trolling right now, but I don't got no hate toward y'all, man. I seriously doubt if a lot of y'all might not even pop in here tonight. I know we took a couple nights off. Everybody has stuff to do. We still got two of the four with stuff to do, so they can't show up neither tonight. But however, I would like to say hats off to y'all. Y'all fought. Y'all fought. Y'all beat my team. So I don't got too much trolling I could really do for real, for real.
Exactly.
But at some point, I was rooting for y'all. I can't even front. I was rooting for y'all. Y'all did well. Trae tried. He came back off the sprained ankle. He didn't play good. I'm kind of questioning if he even should have did that. He might have should have left it to Lou. I mean, Lou in his 11 minutes, he ain't make. I don't think he scored. He was like 0 for 3. But Trae was off. Like he was trying, but you could clearly see he wasn't the Trae who ran through the Sixers defense and was running through the Bucks defense early on in the series. He wasn't the same. But I mean, he tried to give it a go. The back was against the wall. If they would have won the last game, I'm sure he probably would have set out again. For real. But I think he felt the desperation. The team felt the desperation. They tried to give it a go, but it wasn't happening. So, but kudos, hats off to y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all did y'all thing. Y'all represented well. Y'all going to come back next year, I think, even stronger. A couple people let y'all down. I'll get into that, but go ahead, Tim. What's your synopsis?
I was actually rooting for the Atlanta Hawks. I became a fan of the team. I like what Nate McMillan is doing.
Did y'all think y'all represent? My fault. Go ahead.
I like what Nate McMillan is doing. I started becoming a fan of Trae Young. I started the series, our last series, a hater of Trae Young. But, I mean, he grew on me a little bit. It's like how AI used to grow on people after they seen him play over a period of time.
Facts.
But like Ephraim, I think he's going to get into, y'all had a couple balls in game 7 that kind of let y'all down big time.
6. Game 6.
Oh, game
they didn't make it to
the
end. They was trying to get to game 7.
But like the ball, Herder, where did he turned back? He was killing the Sixers. I don't know what the Bucks did, but he turned back to a little pumpkin.
He did. He did.
He
did.
He gave him 5 points. 5 points in the closeout game. 2 for 10. That was 20%. That's unacceptable. I mean, Bogdanovich actually rebounded because he was struggling against us. I guess his knee is better. He gave him 20 points. You can't ask for much. Again, Trae Young gave a valiant effort, 4 of 17, coming off an injury, a bone bruise. Those bone bruises take time. There's nothing you could do about it. There's nothing you could do except let the nature. You just got to heal naturally. Capella gave you 14 points. That's better than what he usually for. You're not looking for him to score. But John Collins, he's the one, and I think even going to talk about this a little bit more. But he's one. He want to be a max player. As a max player, you're not giving me 14 points. That's those Ben Simmons type numbers.
No, I agree. Like that's a little disappointing, man. I thought he was actually shot decent. Like, he was 6 for 9, but he just wasn't aggressive. Like you see his star hurting. He actually played. He sold me out the last couple games that Trae didn't play. I thought he was going to step up and have more of an impact on the game and being aggressive and trying to score. And he disappeared. There's no way in the world you could tell me he worked for a max contract when you had Cam Reddish come back, not even probably all the way healthy or not even all the way back into his groove, and he outshined Collins by a mile. So, I mean, it's for y'all Atlanta fans. Like, I know y'all want to get a little bit off y'all chest, you know what I'm saying, and speak on what y'all want to see or where y'all felt y'all, went wrong in this game. This game was weird though. Like Atlanta, I give Atlanta credit. They was like, you ever see the horror movie, like the bad horror movie, when no matter what you do to the villain, he just won't die, and like he keep like he
that's
blow up in the car and he
Atlanta.
come out like like Atlanta was that horror movie. They just wouldn't die. Like they just wouldn't.
That's exactly what happened.
Like every time they would come, like look like Milwaukee about to pull off, Atlanta would come back, cut it to 7, cut it to 8, cut it to 10, cut it to 6. Like they would just kept going. But I give it to them. They got a little. Milwaukee got some iffy calls at the end, though. I mean, speak on Atlanta fans. What y'all think? Like, I know y'all was not really wanting to blame the refs because I was kind of doing it against the Sixers, to be honest with you, when y'all played us. But yeah, it was some suspect, like the one they gave against I think it was Cam Reddish. You sticking Middleton, and it looked like Middleton just outright flopped, and they kind of gave it to him like he acted like he got hit in the eye or something, and all this goofiness. It was a couple calls down the end that to me was a little sus. But every time y'all made a run, somebody from Milwaukee did something to kind of stifle the run.
Like a steal, like I was like,
yeah,
because they got it close, and all of a sudden they was getting quick steals, and I'm like, dang, like just let them play. Bob was online tripping. He was like, yo, I hate it here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's from Atlanta, so he was tripping because he was blaming all the sports teams. He said we can't win with the what's that football team, the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
He was spazzing out on Matt Ryan. He's spazzing out on everybody.
Oh, really? Yeah, we know how you feel, though. I mean, listen, coming from the city of brotherly love, another big market. Sometimes you expect more. You want to see the job get done. I know that Super Bowl against the Patriots, I'm sure that broke a lot of Atlanta fans because that was unnecessary. There's no way in the world I shouldn't have walked out there with a Super Bowl. I was rooting for y'all hard on that one. I just don't like the Patriots like that. But yeah, it was. This game was. I mean, Milwaukee. I had to give Middleton credit. Middleton came and balled in the third quarter. He went off. He went off. Well, he had a good all around. A couple games. I think the first 2 games, especially the first game, he dropped the dud. And the second game, I can't remember exactly what he had. Like 2 bad games in this series, but he came in. I think game 3 of 4 or something. He went off, had the 39 points. Then he came back here at 18. I think in the third quarter he went off, and Holiday played solid. But ultimately, I mean, they made the plays that needed him, and Holiday kind of carried the team. That one move Holiday had in the middle when he drove, it was Atlanta made a bucket to come back to kind of close the gap, and then Holiday came down and went in between. I think it was Collins and Capella or something. And I mean, this was incredible. It was one of the best moves I ever seen Holiday do. And then he did. A couple plays later, I knew it was over when PJ Tucker knocked down a 3 late in the game.
That was the killer. That was the killer because they was cut. It was at that point the game was like 7 or 6, and then I was like, okay, it's over. Tucker wasn't making nothing.
Yeah,
but even I'm looking at his series. He had 15 the first game. Second game he had 38 points. Third game he had 36. Then last game he done 26 and 32. So he had a pretty solid series. Middleton, he did what he's supposed to do. I mean,
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, what's up? Shout out. We got a couple people watching. Hey y'all. My apologies. We got a skeleton crew, much like the playoffs. This what you see right here, this podcast is much like the playoffs. We missing very important people that's integral to the whole thing. I mean, Giannis missed some games, Trae missed some games. We had people missing games, so now we got people missing nights. But I mean, we just popped on because I know probably a couple of y'all wanted to vent. I know after the Sixers lost to Atlanta, I needed to vent. It was to date. It was the day I almost watched. Yeah.
I know.
Enjoy the Sixers loss. So I know how y'all feel. Any Atlanta fans is popping. They probably don't want to hear from us. They might be watching the Atlanta pod or something, and they over there vetting. But Stacks 211 says, I don't care what nobody says. We could have beat Milwaukee. He says, we, parentheses, Ben blew it. LOL. So
I got to address that comment though, because
I agree.
When you go back and look at that series that we had, we lost 2 games because of Thibault. Because we was down 1 point in the final game, and he fouls Trae Young on a 3.
That was bad.
Game 2, he did the exact same thing. I went back. I was like, the keys to those losses was bonehead plays by Thibault. He getting nobody saying nothing about what Thibault did. Everybody talking about some Ben didn't do this, Ben didn't do that. But Thibault made critical mistakes on 2 games that cost us victories. Fouling 3-point play. I mean, it was 1 minute and 7 seconds left in the final game, game 7. We at home, and Thibault fouls the ball, Trae Young, and then they go for it. And then that was pretty much a wrap. And everybody came out like Ben Simmons. I'm like, this dude did this twice. He cost us twice. Go back and look at it.
You right, but you wrong. You're talking about 2 plays versus 60 that Ben didn't make.
Clutch plays, though.
You talking about Thibault? We lost 2 games up 20 points, 118, 126. We lost, and they was back-to-back games. A large part of that reason was because the hacker Ben. Ben had a numerous. You're right that was crucial moments. You want boys to play better or smarter, but you can't tell me that you weigh his 2 plays against a dude who had a litany of plays that he did not make in the course of that playoff. So I hear you, but I'm not going for that. And if Wayne and Ethan was here, they would be going off right now.
But I'm saying,
and I'm not having.
You got 8 turnovers by Joel Embiid game 7, and then you also got a crucial 3-point foul on the 3-point play by Trae Young, and then on Trae Young by Thibault. Those are factors.
But you beating the wrong tree.
All right,
man.
I know they would be fighting
tree.
me right now. That's why it was a good chance to get this out while they wasn't on the pod tonight.
I agree, Stacks 11. He said Thibault did the bonehead foul, but come on, Ben was the storyline he was the story of our demise. I agree with that. Solving the race problems, the Sixers should be in the finals right now. And I agree with that.
I agree
with that. But I mean, we dropped the ball, man. We had a golden opportunity. We should have legit had the easiest course to the finals, and we blew it. We outright blew it. The sad part about it was, if everybody would have played their game, we would have won. Because I mean, I guess one of the reasons we was actually in it or playing better because we did have a person elevate their game. Seth actually elevated his game, and Tobias was kind of a little bit the same. I think he elevated his scoring a little bit, but his field goal percentage went down.
He should have played better.
Yeah, he should have played better. And Ben completely tanked. And B he got you about the same. I think his field goal percentage might have dropped some in the playoffs, but he got you about the same. Most stars, actually, most leaders of teams, it's not uncommon for their field goal percentage to drop a little bit in the playoffs because you're playing against better defensive teams. You playing against better defensive players.
And then you got the same team that's figuring you out throughout the 7-game series.
Exactly. So they knowing your little tendencies and nuances. So it's a good chance that your field goal percentage may drop. So I'm not too hung up on that. But just the overall play, Tobias didn't play good. Ben, obviously, Ben. But I was impressed with Seth. Seth stepped his game up. He was impressed for us. But you know what? Going back to this Atlanta game real quick. You know what probably hurt Atlanta fans? The same thing that hurt us. You remember how the bull Lou Williams went off that one game and caused the game? Now we had our prodigal son Lou go off and kill us, and they had the boy Jeff Teague do the same thing against them. He actually went like 3 for 3 threes. I know they couldn't stand seeing this bull bomb away threes and help put him away, but that's how it goes. Like, sometimes you get knocked off by the same bull who was on your team representing for you, and then he come back to kill you. So
I just really wish Trae was healthy, man. I wish he was able. I would have liked to see 2 healthy teams. I wish Giannis was able to play.
I know.
But I mean, so tell me this: if they get to the finals and win, can he be the MVP missing 2 games, 2.5 games?
But I mean, is it based off the whole playoffs or just the finals?
Based off the whole playoffs.
I don't know. Are you sure about that? Because I don't know. Because I say this. They act like when Steph
Curry. They
Curry
say Finals MVP, so I really don't know. They say
I think it's just Finals MVP. I mean, maybe on the comments can have a little. To my knowledge, just Finals because when Steph Curry got lost to Iguodala, you mean to tell me Iguodala was the playoff MVP? First of all, he wasn't even the Finals MVP in my mind.
Oh, and yeah, I think he was.
No. You sent me a tweet that somebody said that earlier.
So that you want two other people.
He legit should have had. He legit should have had like 2 Finals MVPs, but I digress. But it's just based off the finals. I think it's just what you do in the finals, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll see if he come back. I mean, I'm thinking he should play, but we as basketball fans did get robbed with some of these injuries, man. Some of these injuries to COVID. Even Chris Paul missing a couple games due to COVID. You had LeBron and AD. They wasn't 100% going into the playoffs, and they was out of sync. So this basketball storyline, and for all fairness, a lot of times you do have that in general. I mean, I think about Golden State second championship run. I think Patrick Beverly and somebody else got hurt that was playing for Houston at the time, which made their path a little easier.
Dave Song said it's a Finals MVP, and so the stats to 11.
Yeah, just the final. All right, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Whatchamacallit, remember the first year they got KD, Kawhi got hurt. San Antonio was up 20 that game. Then the dude, I can't remember the dude's name, who stepped underneath Kawhi's ankle, the Florida ball, who stepped underneath Kawhi's feet, twisted his ankle, Kawhi goes out. So a lot of times you get injuries that even the whole Golden State first championship they won, when you had Kevin Love and Kyrie go out the same finals so Golden State could have not really a cakewalk, but an easier path to win that first one. And then the one that they lost, hurt his knee. Andrew Berger hurt his knee. Draymond gets suspended. So it's always something that kind of twists the series a little bit in somebody's favor, and that's kind of what happened here. And it might have twisted for the Milwaukee.
Remember how Kobe won that championship? Someone's Big Perk went down.
Exactly.
Like
Game 7.
You can't tell me Boston wasn't going to win that series. Well, Boston,
I believe so.
They was chilling. They just lost that big man, and that just hurt them so bad.
Exactly.
It was like injuries. That's why this was probably the year for us. This was probably the year for if Ben Simmons was just halfway decent. Just give us what you was giving us offensively before. That hurt us.
I agree. That hurt us big time. Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see what happens with Ben Simmons' future is. I'm hearing that Sixers is feverishly looking for trades for your man. But
they only trading for a star. He got to be a superstar. They're not trading for somebody who's bad or just.
But how? Okay, in what world did that really make sense? You telling me?
A lot of sense. That's like the same thing with James Harden. When we put Ben on the table early in the year, it was only because we wanted to draft James Harden, someone better, and we was going to put a package together. Ben was the big fish, but we was putting a nice pond around him with little fish to make it nice for the superstar to come in. Same thing. They're not going to draft. They're not going to trade him for like Bogdan. They wanted Bogdan, and so like they're not going to trade for just a good player. They want a superstar to pair up with Embiid. That's the only way we get rid of him.
No,
that makes sense to me.
Ideally, yes, but realistically, are you realistically trying to? I mean, how much are you also going to give Whip Ben to get let's say Dame Lillard is the fish we chasing, the big fish. You're not giving up. What do you have to give up? It's going to be Ben, Maxey, probably Thibault, a draft pick or two.
That's it. It will be some draft picks, but if you got a disgruntled superstar out there. I think the two people that they'll trade for would be Bill, because B really like Bill, so they'll trade for Bill disgruntled and be like, I want out. They'll ship him to Washington, and then he'll come and play with them, or they'll ship Dame out. Dame like, listen, I'm done in Portland. The big package is Ben, because Ben has unique skills that a lot of people don't have.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, but my thing is, all right. For one, I like Bill. Bill's a baller. I necessarily wouldn't trade Bill because his contract expires in next year, unless when he trades, he signs to an extension. all right, Dame, I think, got another 2 to 3 years left on his deal, so you automatically know you're getting him for more than just one season. I don't know what Zach LaVine got. He's another dude I would love the Sixers to try to get at. But you want to get a dude who at least has several years left on his contract. So, all right, Ben's contract is big enough to match any of these dudes' contracts, and then you got to play with the rest of the money and all that kind of stuff like that, whatever. But I want a dude who I know is here for at least 2 to 3 years to give us that window to win. If you got a year left on your deal, I'll be real apprehensive unless you plan on signing when we trade for you.
They might do a sign and trade. They may very well, most likely, if they sign up for a big time player, they're going to have an agreement that they're going to sign a long term deal. Because that'd be crazy if they just walk away after one season and you gave up a bona fide stud and Ben Simmons.
I agree. I don't agree with bona fide stud. I know where you getting this bona fide stud talk. If you're giving up a lot of pieces, because you're going to have to give up Ben and multiple pieces. You're giving up Maxey and Thibault and draft picks and all this stuff. Then yes, you're going to need somebody who's going to be here long term. I'm not mortgaging my future for somebody just to bounce in a year. And can't nobody guarantee a championship unless you bring in maybe not even a fully healthy LeBron, because LeBron could get hurt. The best chance you got to probably win a championship with any player you bringing them in for 1 year is probably either a KD, a Steph Curry, or that's probably it. That'll give you the best, or maybe even a Dame. I will go far as to say, I think if you get Dame in here would be, y'all have a legitimate shot to win a championship. Now, outside of injuries, obviously, but
and when you also got to look at something too. Ben Simmons got a 15% trade kicker, and with him with Clutch Sports, it's going to be a certain amount of teams that he's going to be willing to go to. So you're not going to be able to ship him to like a bad team. So you're going to ship him to somewhere where there's a star player that's actually pretty decent, which is go back to is either going to be Portland. Or it may be Chicago with the boy LaVine, but it's going to be somebody. It's going to be a place that he wants to go to. They're not going to just be able to show him anywhere.
I'm sure he got a good agent, so they're going to make sure that they make Ben the ideal situation for him. But ultimately, too, you can only go where somebody wants you. So do they really want it? Like
a lot of teams. They said so far as they say, it's about 13 teams that reached out to the Sixers offering a package for Ben Simmons. People want
how many teams?
13.
That's
almost half the league.
Maybe the bottom 13, maybe.
I think it's a lot of stuff. People see he has some skills. A lot of people think that they can fix him. But before we get out of here, who do you have going in the finals? Who do you think going to win it? Is it Phoenix or the Bucks?
First of all, I agree. Stacks. 211. Tim did try it. He said he's a bona fide stud. Tim tried it. Yeah, he did try it, and I called him because he almost caught me slipping on my listening. But as regards the championship, I'm rooting for Phoenix. If I was a betting man and I had to put money down, I'm putting money down on Phoenix. They hitting you. It's actually a good matchup, though. I think they both of them have players that can score when the main scorer is not scoring. This is what I was trying to tell Wayne. I think you were talking about Wayne about Milwaukee. Milwaukee showed that tonight. They had Lopez step up, especially last game. He dropped like 30-something. Yeah, today, I think he had a middle of the pack game today. He's real efficient, though. What did he end up scoring? He was 5 for 9. So he had 13 points tonight. Okay. Grabs 6 rebounds, had a couple blocks, 3 block shots. Then Holiday and Middleton stepped up. They gave you 32 and 27. So Phoenix has the same thing. They got Chris Paul, they got Ayton, and they got Devin Booker and the young boy, who stepped up out of nowhere. What's his name? Peyton, I think his name is. Now I'm not
Lopez
thinking
ain't gonna be able to dominate with Ayton up down there. See,
if they use him, they don't use Ayton. They try to. Defensively,
Ayton has height. Atlanta had no height. So all that easy hooks that he was doing and all that stuff is going to be a little different come Phoenix. But I do like the matchup. I think this is more evenly matched, an even matchup compared to let's say if Atlanta had made it. I think that it would have been a kind of a cupcake not to say that Atlanta is bad, but I just think that it'd been a little bit more easier. This is a good matchup for the just for us to see. But I do see the Phoenix Suns getting that first title. I do.
Yeah, I think so. Chris Paul going to be the storyline. Played for what, 16, 17 years. Never got the championship.
This will put him in the higher class as far as top point guards of all time in the NBA, because the only thing that's missing from his resume is that title, is that ring. Do you think he'll get MVP of the finals?
He possibly could. I still think Devin Booker the most important piece. I know everybody like this Chris Paul storyline. Chris Paul is a baller. Don't misquote my words. Chris Paul is a baller, but he's not the main cog in this wheel. The main cog to me is Devin Booker. I'm going with Devin Booker. I think you saw that when Chris Paul was missing, they still won games, and Devin Booker was still going off. And I think if you remove Booker and you have Chris Paul, I don't think that team wins like they do with it flipped. With that being said, I think they're a well-built team. They're a well-coached team.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Do you think this ring for Paul puts him up there in the pantheon of great point? If they win this ring, would it put him up there with the pantheon of great point guards of all time?
It has to. I mean, because look at the longevity he has on him. I mean, the assists, the efficiency. Don't turn the ball over at all.
Yeah, he's very, very protective of the rock.
Yeah,
that's true.
So if top 10, easy.
Who you think stack? I mean, I think he might go even higher. I mean, definitely top 10. I mean, I know whatchamacallit Brooks did Westbrook a disservice talking about he's the second or third best point guard of all time. That right there, I don't know. Maybe he was trying to motivate him or something.
That got him fired.
Yeah, like, come on, man, stop. You put this bull over, like I said, Curry. You put him over Kidd, Curry, Nash, Paul. Come on, man. Like, so now Chris Paul I think legitimately probably gets in that top 5. I think he legitimately might get in that top 5.
So at the Magic and
Magic is Steph. Then you got.
Is he over Stockton?
It's either I still got a problem with putting Steph over Isaiah. In my mind, I would still probably go Isaiah. I would do Magic, Isaiah, then Steph, then I'm trying to see what my fourth would be. It might be. You gotta get me thinking. It might be. I gotta
get the list of all the.
It might be Paul. I mean, what's your thoughts? I mean, of all our 23 people that's
we know we came on. It's cool.
Yeah. But what's your thoughts? I mean, I'm thinking he might be 4 or 5. I mean, that's my solidified top 3: Magic, Isaiah, and Steph. Now, Steph could actually move up, in my opinion, depending on how his career ends. If he wins another 2 rings, then he has a legitimate argument for Magic's spot, depending on how he win them, if it's him, the catalyst of the team and all that. But and Paul do too, depending on where, how long he ended up playing. If he retire after this year or play another 2 years and maybe win another ring, he got an opportunity to move up. So the list is fluid right now.
Yeah.
Because you got the top 5, you got still some active Bulls. So Nash, I think he in my top 10. I think he was a great player who just never won. Kid got a ring, great point guard, so you got to put him somewhere in there. So I mean, it's a couple names floating around. I know it's somebody I'm missing right now off the top of my head, but I mean, this definitely going to go a long way for his legacy. For real.
I agree.
Go to his legacy. So we'll see. Tuesday night, I think they're saying it's the first game. Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. Final jump off.
So we'll be on after the game. Just a special shout out to the Atlanta Hawks. Though they play hard, they play well together. It should be by the end of the week. It should be an announcement that Nate McMillan has signed a 5-year deal to remain the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks. I'd be shocked anything differently. They better take care of that man.
I agree. Hey, Stacks. Stacks said, whoa, Magic spot. Nah. Hey, Stacks, real rap. Like, you can't close the book. I'm not one of them old heads who like, oh man, this book got a spot. He could never be moved. Like it's certain dudes from what's the dude name? Sonny Hill. There's certain dudes from the Sonny Hill era who refuse to acknowledge that they don't call Jordan the greatest. They say it's Wilt.
There's always
they
Wilt.
They won't budge. No, it's Wilt. And I remember I used to listen to Sonny Hill all the time in the morning. I listen to Sonny Hill show every Sunday morning. Sonny Hill was adamant. He said Wilt, best player I've ever seen. And he had a ton of old heads who would call his show and say the same thing. And I'm not taking that from him. That's the era they came in. They saw Wilt. Wilt, from what I hear, was probably the most freakish athlete to probably ever play the game. This dude was 6'11" and had a 46-inch vertical. That's incredible.
Yeah.
But that's how they felt. They felt Wilt was the greatest. Magic, great player. But Steph's still playing. Let's say Steph wrote off. Let's say out of the next 3 years, Golden State comes back and win 2 more championships. So now Steph got 5 championships under his belt. Now, granted, 2 of them came when he had the most stacked team in the league. So a lot of times, I even as a Steph fan, I kind of hold that against him a little bit. But in my opinion, I know Tim don't agree. He's always been the best player on the team. I don't care who played with him. Even when Durant was there, Steph Gardner. Go back and watch that. I do any of y'all favor who say Durant better than Curry. I'm gonna close my piece with this. Y'all go back and y'all watch them finals games, or even watch the highlights of Durant scoring, and watch how many times the whole defense shifted toward Curry in order to keep Curry from scoring, and Durant got easy buckets. But I digress.
Yeah, let's digress.
But I say that to say the list is still fluent, because who knows what could happen in the next 5 years. Steph could win another 2 to 3 championships. Then what you going to say? Like, you at some point you got to say, yo, this dude has a legitimate argument for the number 1 spot. But that's how I say it.
Yeah. All right, so we out this joint. We will be back on right after the game, regardless of how late it is. Hopefully, it's not too late on Tuesday. But maybe we'll get game 1 of the NBA Finals. We'll see. We'll give you our but the other 2 will give you their opinion who they think gonna win. But I got Phoenix in 6. I think
Phoenix in 6.
Phoenix in 6.
I would like to go 7 to be a nice series.
Oh, I love it if it went 7.
But I could see that happening, and especially depending on what Giannis is doing with it. But are they a better team? Are they playing better without Giannis? I think they move the ball a little better without Giannis. But I do think they need Giannis to win a championship.
I agree.
I don't think they could go in there and say we a better team without him. They may move the ball a little better, but they're going to need Giannis if they want to win this championship. And they're going to need Giannis to play well and not no 18%. He's shooting like 18% from 3, so that can't happen. They're going to need him to at least shoot what he was shooting this season. I think it was around like the low 30s or something. And that may help them. But other than that, they lose.
All right, before we leave out, I do want to say earlier, man, Ephraim was having a debate as far as if you had a chance to have one Steph on your squad with Embiid or Dame on your squad with Embiid, who would you prefer? Of course, you know who he selected, but I'm going with Dame.
Why are you going with Dame over Curry?
I mean, Dame is a killer. He's a sniper. No
doubt.
He's clutch. He's more clutch than the bull. Like when it comes to Steph does good things. He's a scorer, very good scorer. But he has the bull Clay carrying him most times, and then he had Durant carrying him a lot of times. So you imagine playing and you don't feel a lot of pressure. He goes out there and it's not a lot of pressure on Steph when he's out there playing. But Dame is a killer sniper. That's the bull that you want with you at all times on the court. And with him and Embiid, that's a problem.
Y'all hearing
that's
this?
all we got for the night. So
I wouldn't mind. I would love to see Dame here. Of course, Dame my man, but ain't no way. He ain't better than Steph. Steph different. Steph is cut from a different cloth. You get Steph. I can't remember who it was. It might have been D Market. One of y'all came on here and I think said the truest statement. And then we're gonna close this thing out. They said that Steph is the most defended person above the 3-point line, and Embiid is the most defended underneath it. You put them two together, it's nothing you can do. You got to pick your poison, and your poison will kill you. Either one you're going to pick. They both poisons, and you're going to be dead. Now, Dame is the baby Steph. If you can't get Steph and you get Dame, you still doing good. But Steph different. Steph different.
Okay.
But Thank y'all for joining. We appreciate it. Love the love. Peace out to everybody there in podcast land. But hopefully next time we see y'all, we had a BB Voltron back up again. We have all the squad back together. But this was indicative of the playoffs, people missing games.
Exactly.